What's up, you guys? It's Suzanne Sheer. We just wrapped up recording my WXPN Sofa Session, and now I'm so excited to chat a little bit and let you guys know a little bit more about me and my music and my creative process. Check it out. My Mount Rushmore of just vocalists.
Yep.
Okay, Aretha Franklin for sure. If I could put her on there twice, I probably would. Leanne La Havas, I feel like she doesn't get mentioned that much, and I feel like vocally, I mean, her whole artistry is incredible, but vocally she's just unbelievable. Paolo Nutini is a huge influence of mine. I love his voice. I've been realizing recently that I was listening to his latest album recently, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm realizing I do vocally, I think I'm very inspired by what he does with his voice. Incredible voice. And it's so hard when you have to pick only a certain amount. I mean, Amy, because it's there's lots of people who sound like Amy, but it's they sound like Amy. You know what I mean? So I like that. I think that's good for. I could go answer this question 1,000 different ways, but I like those four. Growing up in a musical family I wouldn't be making music without that, I don't think. My dad is an incredible piano player, incredible guitar player, and just lover of music, which is such an important aspect of it too. Not just that he's a musician, but that he loves music so much. So we had this beautiful Yamaha Baby Grand in my house growing up, and all these incredible guitars. And I have an older brother, and so he started playing music. And so it was my dad influenced my brother and then influenced me, you know what I mean? So I also have my grandmother on my mom's side she sang opera for the Pittsburgh Opera. Amazing opera singer, just beautiful voice. So yeah, it influenced me so much because I was just surrounded by music constantly since I was a baby. And as soon as I started teaching myself piano and first time I wrote my first song, just the response from my family was so positive that was also just so influential, because I was oh yeah, gave me the push to know I want to do this. I think I was 13. I hadn't written anything of my own yet, but I was getting really obsessed with teaching myself covers on our family piano. And then for my 14th birthday, they got me my own keyboard. And I remember I was upstairs playing it, and I wrote this song. I wish I could remember what it was called and how it went. I think if I really tried, I maybe could, and I remember coming downstairs, and my mom was in the kitchen. Our kitchen, you could walk through our sort of dining room where the piano was. And I nervously went to the kitchen, and I was I wrote a song, can I play it for you? And I think she was sort of sure, of course, yeah, let's hear a little song. And I had written this. I was 14, but I was writing these super emotional, intense ballads, because I was I wanted to sound like these grown women who are singing these intense records. And I just remember my mom was oh my gosh, and then I played it for my dad, and I think they were both sort of really taken back, because I think they had been listening to me learn these other people's songs, but I didn't think that they had any idea I was going to start writing. And so they loved it. They were super blown away by it, and I was oh yeah, I gotta write a million more of these songs. I think my love of the craft has helped me find my sound, because it's been tricky, I love listening to so much music. I'm so inspired by so many different genres of music and different artists. And so I want to be able to do a little bit of all of those inspirations with my music. But that gets a little bit tricky, because then, you get nervous and you get stuck in this place where it's does this, I could go and make a song that sounds, like Daft Punk, one of my biggest influences, and then go make a song that, feels more soul or feels a little more Adele leaning or something. And it's or I make a record about a club banger and then make a folk song, and it's hard to navigate finding a way to make those all fit together so that it's cohesive, And so I think that's just been really important in terms of my craft of honing in on figuring out the perfect way to make all of those different things flow together, because it's I think it's important for artists to remember there isn't if this is what you want to make. If this is what you're making, then like that's your art. Like make that, you know. But I think like there's something really cool about finding a way to really like hone in on the craft, make it all flow together in a way that still feels like you're not cheating yourself or missing out on something you want to make because like, you know, it doesn't make sense. Like it's art. It makes sense if it's your art, you know. The songwriting process is like so funny because it can be so easy and just like boop, or it can be like make me feel absolutely insane. I've said like I would rather get cheated, the feeling of getting cheated on than the feeling of having writer's block. Like, and I truly mean that. It's like, you know, sometimes it just, especially like when I was younger, I remember like I would get an idea of a song or one line in my head and like get up out of bed and be like, I have to write this down. I have to write the song. So sometimes like the inspiration is just there. I mean, I write mostly about like love and romance and heartbreak. And so, you know, it's actually really funny. I like recently wrote, people have always told me like, your songs are so sad because I'm so often kind of writing these like heartbreak kind of ballads. But I recently wrote a love song, a proper love song that's not sad at all. This is a love song. And like, that was such a fun experience because that was like so different from, you know, what I'm used to writing. But yeah, it can be really tricky when like you just want to, you know, I'll go in the studio sometimes and be like trying to write to something one of my producers has made, and like it's so frustrating when you can't get it, but it's so when you can get it and it just like comes right out, like that is like the most, yeah, that's like the most fulfilling thing in the world. So we got to make, my producer, I have two producers, Expo and Low Tits. Shout out to them, they're the best. We were lucky enough to be asked to make a song for the Philadelphia Eagles. Not last year, but the year before, 2023, 2024? 2022, sorry, 2022.
Right after you dropped the blue album.
Yeah. So yeah, we got asked to make a song for the Eagles in 2022, and they wanted it to sound like they wanted it to sound like me, but obviously it needed to be like an anthem. It was for a football team. And so at that point I was kind of just like, okay, like how am I gonna make a song for a football team, kind of, you know, just like, and we started a couple songs, and I was getting super frustrated, like in tears, like, why are they asking me? Like, I write love songs like that, you know what I mean? And, but my producer was just like, no, like, we got this, like, we can do it. And he, you know, on the production end, he was crushing it. He was making these, like, really amazing beats. And then we were back in the studio working on this record, and I sort of started playing the keys and sort of singing the hook, and he was like, yes, you know, and then it just like kind of melted out of us. And that was just like a really cool collaborative experience, because it was with my best friend and my producer, who, like, you know, I love making music with him, but also it was like I was crashing out a little bit, and he really like reeled me back in. And then we, like, you know, we nailed it. And then the Sixers ended up using it in their like hype video too, so it ended up being really cool. Well, what's so cool and so special about Philly is that I had gone to college in New Mexico, moved back to Pittsburgh, and was trying to figure out what I was going to do. And I wanted to be somewhere, no shade to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is amazing, but it's just the kind of music that I want to do. There isn't that much of a scene for it there, which I think there will be, you know. And so I moved to Philly with my friends, and it was like the first week I moved here, I went and played an open mic, and it was just like so mind-blowing, the musicianship, and, you know, the musicians here in Philly, and like the way that they all play together and they jam together, and they, you know, it's like such a special thing. I'm like so honored to be part of the Philadelphia music scene, because like there just isn't anywhere like it, I don't think, anywhere else. And just like the soul and the jazz and the blues and the just everything, you know, it's like, it's so incredible. So yeah, living in Philly has totally changed my artistry and like inspired me so much, just by like my peers. The people in Philly are just incredible in all art forms, you know, not just music, but for sure, crazy, the best. A song I'm really excited about is my newest single. It's called Me and My Friends. It's super fun. It's just literally like an anthem. I wrote about my best friends, and when we were in this sort of like crazy party era, and so like, you know, if you listen to the lyrics, it sounds like it's just like about a song, partying with your friends, but like it really is just about, there's a line in it where I say like, I'm in love with all of my friends. It really is like just a love song to my friends. And like, especially for women, I think those like female friendships, and it's just you and your girls, and you're out and it's summer and you're drinking and you're dancing, and you can tell everybody else at the party is like, I want to be with them, you know? And it's just like that feeling of just like freedom and happiness and joy and partying and being young. And so I'm really excited about that record because I think a lot of people will relate to it and just have fun listening to it with their friends. What's up, you guys? It's Suzanne Sheer. I'm here at Rec Studios, and I want to make sure you guys go check out newest episode of Sofa Sessions from WXPN, starring me. I love you guys.